Here is step 2, where we're going to take the 3 mini PCs that we put the OS on in the last video, or step 1. Now we're going to change the DHCP addresses to a static IP address, and I'm going to show you how that's done. But first, let's go see what IP addresses that we have, and they should be correct. The control is currently at 167 DHCP address. We want to change that actually to 8, and then we want to change the first worker to 9, and then the second worker to 10. All right, and these are the DHCP addresses here. We'll have a gateway of 254, the net mask of a /24 class C. Then we're going to use these DNSs as the DNSs. So let's go ahead and open up our command prompt and then SSH into our control device at 192.168.2.167. Put in our password. Then we go to cd/etc/netplan, and there we have one file. We have to use root. We have to use sudo, because if we just cat it, it's going to fail. So barrel key, Control A, brings us to the front, and now we do this. So we need to change this, right? We're going to change this to, static here. So we've got to change a couple things here. Let's go sudo vi. You can use whatever editor you're comfortable with. I like using vi. But first, before we go ahead and do that, let's just do a copy. Always make a copy of the original, and we're going to call that org. Do an ls, and see, now we have both. Now we can do a sudo vi 50, the yam file. And now we see the file. Now here, you can't use tabs or anything like that. And you see the way it's set up here. The network, the first line has no spaces. Second line version 2 has 2 spaces. Same thing with Ethernets. This has 4 spaces. That's the interface. And this has 6 spaces, and so on and so on. But if you want to know what your interface is, and you don't know what it is, what we do is this command called IP-A, which stands for that, and we can see that my is this. Now, if you want to know, if you don't know what your default gateway is or anything like that, do an up arrow key, and let's do route, and now we can see our default gateway is 254, and we're using this DNS, and we're using my internal DNS Q. So let's go back to VI, and let's start to configure this. And hit append. Oh Jesus! Oh, we're at the bottom already. So the first thing is we want to do is get rid of true. Hit append again, and then we're going to type in false. I think you can use no too. The next thing is we want to do is addresses, right? We want to add our addresses, or our static IP address, into this file here, which is add or ESSES colon, all right, enter, dash, and then the IP address. It's going to be that, and then the subnet mask, which is /24, and then we hit enter, and now we want to add our default gateway, which in this case here is called routes, right, colon, see it automatically indents, hit the dash, type in 2 colon space the IP address of our default gateway, hit enter. Now we're going to want to go via. We're not going to indent here because it lined up perfect, and then we see we hit the colon, and then that's wrong. Let's go back up here. This is 2. This is the default route. All right. This should be default. assume I spell it right. All right, and then this will be the gateway, the actual gateway IP address of 192. Let's do an insert 192.168.2.254. And hit that. Now we're going to go back because now we want to put in our DNSs, and we're going to type that as name servers colon then address. That should line up with the first dash. So we had to do 2, 1, 2, right? Address is, all right, and then that's only 1, 1, 2. We should line up again with that. Hit the dash and then type in our DNS, right? And then the cool thing about this is that it will. What the hell happened there? Oh, I did a whole bunch of stuff. Let me see what's up here. Well. We're going to start this over. Well, waiting for me to correct this. Don't forget to check the description below, and there'll be a link to all of the commands that I used on my site. So just go down below and check the description, and you should see a couple links there going to the individual projects that I'm doing here. Let's go ahead and save it. Now we're going to do sudo netplan. We're going to do try. Now what try does, it temporarily puts it in there, right? And it'll roll back. If you don't put apply in the next set of commands, it'll roll back to what originally was. So we're going to do a try, see if we get any errors. Looks like we don't. We're going to wait for this to time out. We'll log back in and then do a netplan apply to make it permanent. We got it there. So now we want to go sudo. Let's just do sudo cat All right, so now let's do a sudo netplan apply and hit return. Gotta wait till the prompt comes back. Now we should be able to get to 8, and it should be permanent. All right, so there we are. So the next one we're going to do is, where is it? We're going to do worker 1, which is on 24. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up here. So let's SSH to 192.168.2.24. Now notice I didn't put the username in front because the control, the cube control, has the same username as cube work 1 and cube work 2, so you don't need to put the username in front. It defaults to the username which you logged into on the system that is requesting SSH2. For here we're going to do the same thing, cd/etc. Hey, we're just going to finish up the second server here. I'm going to move on to the third one, which will be coming up here shortly. And I want you to take notice of a couple mistakes I make. Here, we're on the third one now. And when I go to configure the file there, I mistakenly do too many less spaces, which fails the apply command. And then I go back in there and I fixed it by moving everything over more to the right. Also, I didn't realize that .10, which this server is going to be, this is going to be the server's IP, was being used by a camera. Once I figured that out, everything went back to normal, and I was able to access this server on .10 instead of trying to get to the camera. So I had to move the camera to a different IP address. No biggie. Took me a few minutes to figure that out. Once I got into my firewall, I noticed the camera was on .10, so I just moved it off. Now, it's working now. So with that, I hope everybody have a happy and wonderful day. Until the next video.